All right, let's get the cameras back under control here. Press that button, it'll do that, and should come back to something reasonable in a minute. How y'all doing tonight? Good to see you, Craig and Eric and Paul. Thanks for stopping by on this, whatever night this is. There we go, something like that. Oh, let's see. We're going to take that. All right. So, here we are on, what's this, Christmas Eve, I guess. Would you please stop? The technology is out of control. All right. Now the little run button is stopped there. And I'm going to come back here. And I'm going to do that. And we're going to start over. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming. So a few things tonight. Like I say, we're here on Christmas Eve, and eating Italian came over from Symptoms of Reality. Well, thanks for coming over. I had what did I have for dinner tonight? It's been so long. Well, I guess it was pizza. Now that I think about it, so I had Italian too. I had pizza, and I had little Vienna Fingers cookies. So a world tour of food. So anyway, tonight is going to be kind of an Arturia night. I think Eric's working on the Euro rack. I'm not working on mine. I'm going to leave mine just the way it isn't, because I don't have one. And I'm kind of sort of glad that I've decided to stay out of Eurorack. As much as my roots in synthesis were modular, I think I'm pretty happy with using the monolithic synths, so to speak. Not going to do it. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture. No, I'm really happy because a lot of the synths that I have are, even though they're hardwired, they're semi-modular in nature because of the modulation matrices that they have that are so deep, and if I want to do Eurorack like Paul just mentioned, there's always the cartoon Eurorack, and we've got VCV, and then I've got in the Native Instruments world, I've got Reactor, and Massive X is modular-ish. So I've got the since I've got the full Arturia V collection, I've got the modular in there as well. So if I want to do modular, I can patch modular, just on the screen. And I've already paid for it. So there we got that. Nord Modular is Steamboat Willie. So anyway, I said it was going to be kind of, all right, bro. Hey, Sammy, 5 things by the 27th. Pull the trigger already, dude. My gosh. I can't say enough good things about Multipoly, dude. It's probably the most flexible synthesizer in the room. There's no two ways around that. And it does virtual analog, it does wavetables, it mixes them together. It can do two operator FM across 2 of the voices if you beat on it real hard. Hard sync, it's all there. It's all there, and it all sounds good. Oh, and the other thing, Sammy, is you can load your own wavetables into it as well. So, and you've so the thing is, so let me ask you, Sammy, do you have the mod wave? I know you've got a wave state, and I think you've got an op six as well. But do you have the mod wave? Um, yes. Okay. So, um, you keep Paul. You keep saying you offer the sledge, and then you're going to pry it from your cold dead hands. So I take you with a grain of salt. Um, but so um, some of the functionality in the multi-poly is similar to the functionality in the mod wave, specifically some of the parts that deal with the wave tables. And then there's some parts that are kind of similar to the wave state. And then there are parts that are completely its own thing. And that's and I, I'd say buy the darn thing, you know? Um, I think yeah, multi-poly still is yeah. I think they all complement each other, and even out there in left field, even the King Korg Neo has its own little strong points. So there's all of that whole series. I think is really really a great series of synthesizers, and I don't have a mod wave at this point, and I'm toying with trying to pick up an original generation and stick it in one of these cases, and stack it up with my Op six and wave state, and you know, that way I've got let's see, that way I would have it all, and the only one that I don't know that I would buy is the King Korg. I haven't had or heard enough experience with it to really know, you know. So it's and the other thing, right now I'm kind of on a spending moratorium. We'll have to see how things play out. I've got a bunch of pretty serious expenses coming out, but I went too far. Shoot. But so I'm spinning the camera around because we're gonna look. I pushed the wrong button. There, that one. So there it is. And I can't. I don't have the guys. I don't have the editor loaded up tonight. I'm trying to do some other things tonight. I wanted to kind of there's some newer Arturia stuff I wanted to talk about tonight. But the Z Plans VST. Oh, so that I don't know. When I say the editor, I'll go ahead and pull it up real quick. Hopefully, it won't cause any real consternation. Let me put the PC back on screen. Get the chat out of the way so we can see what we're looking at, and let me push a couple buttons here on my side, and we'll do this, and we'll do. Come on, find the device. There we go. So this is the thing, and let's go ahead and take that up to full screen. So I mean everything is here. You've got 2 layers of 4 oscillators each, and the 4 oscillators can be it can be 3 different types. They've got the other thing that the multi-poly brings to the table that none of the other R&D synths bring is the wave shaper. And so let's do something here. Let's pull up an initial patch. I wasn't going to do this. We'll take a few minutes though. Let me see here. Go to, where is it? Here. Templates. And we'll just do an init. So we got, let's see what I have routed to control this. So there we got a nice buzzy in there. We can get to this wave shaper. I'm just going to do one oscillator on one layer, and we'll go into the wave shaper. And you know, there's all the different kinds of wave shaping you can do. I mean, tons of different wave shaping algorithms. I'm going to stick just with the regular West Coast Berkeley and with a sine wave. So we got this sound going on right out of the box. And let me do this. Let me actually do that guy so that you can see maybe a little bit on what's going on the display over there. Let's do real quick. Oh, oscillator 1 button. There we go. So it's hard to see. I know it's tiny on the screen. Actually, we'll just go ahead and bring camera 2 up while I'm doing this, so you can see what's going on. Not supposed to be showing. Do I have that modulated? I may not have that modulated. La 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 la. Let's do this. Yeah. So you can see it twisting that wave around. And I'm going to pop the chat. Oh, I'm not going to be able to see it. Let's see. I'm trying to have this thing have too many things up at once. Bring the chat back in. Problem is I can't see what you're seeing and what I want to see at the same time right now, because I want to see the computer control. So anyway, you can kind of get the point there with that. So we can modulate anything with anything, almost anything with anything. The mod matrix is really deep and simple, and you know, it's just all the stuff is here, man. I mean, it's just I can't. I think it offers one of the best values in a hardware synth right now. Just, you know, there's good effects. Go to the effects section here, and I can say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and throw a chorus on that, and I'll just take the one that's there. Put some delay on there. I'm also going to roll a filter off a little bit because that's a little nasally. Wasn't necessarily trying to go for an organ, but let's see. We'll switch the chorus to, is it in here? La 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 la. No, maybe it's in the pre-effect. Oh no, here it is. That's that one. And over here, where is it? 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 I thought that I had. I'm looking for something specific. I know that there's a. Well, anyway. So there was a whole lot of real simple getting an organ going, and a good, decent sounding organ too. I mean, it's not you know the most Raven organ in the world, but it's not bad, you know. And I thought, I can go to the guitar amp and bring the drive down a little bit. Get kind of a transistor organ sound there. Let's roll that down. Try to play crosshand here. So it can do rock if you want it to, you know, anything you want it to do, it'll do it. And it's, you know, it'll do all the synthy sounds. I mean, I've done, you know, I don't know, a whole bunch of different demonstrations of the thing over the last couple of months, you know, but it's easy to do pretty much anything you want to do with it. And I apologize, while I'm doing this, I can't quite see what's going on in chat because it's too small on the screen. But you know, these just great capabilities. So this particular patch, so this is an interesting one to look at, actually, that I pulled up. I have 3 wave shapers going on this patch. I've got two wave shaper oscillators, and then just a triangle, pulse to triangle wave going down here. And then I got a second wave shaper, or I'm sorry, it's not turned on. I had a second wave shaper, or third wave shaper turned on. I can turn that on too. And we get some really outrageous sounds, you know. And all this is I can modulate this. Let's see. If I click on this bad boy, and where's an LFO? LFO. Grab an LFO here. Oh, let's see. How do we do that? I haven't tried modulating effects yet. I know it can be done. And like I say, I'm a little bit out of what my plan was for tonight. But let's see. Do that. Oh, here we go. There. So I'm going to click on here. Brings me the mods up here. My source is going to be a generator, or I'm sorry, a generator. And interesting. I don't have. Oh, that's interesting. So I can't modulate scale from that with an LFO. That's interesting. May not think that this is one that is wise to control with an LFO. Hey, Viral Beats, welcome. Good to see you. That's something interesting. I didn't know you couldn't. I didn't know that you could not do that particular modulation. Interesting. I wonder if I can do this, that one. That's very interesting. I wonder if it's limited to certain types of effects that you can't do that with. Maybe in the pre-effects, because it may not make sense. Anyway. A lot of stuff you can do with it. It's really freaking powerful. I want to get back to the patch that I had in there, which was one of my own. Get the templates off, turn mine on. And now I've forgotten which one it was. Yeah, we'll use this one. That's not the one I had in there. Let's see. Maybe it was multi-pinger. That'll do. All right, so let's see. Where are we? What am I looking at here? You are looking at the that and that. Andy, good to see you. My goodness, it's late for you or early, depending on how you want to look at it. So let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and switch gears, and I'm going to start getting into what it was that I have that I had thought about talking about. And like I said, I was going to at the top. I was going to try and make this a. Uh-oh, I'm being rated. Tron Dog, good to see you. Who have I missed? Who have I missed coming in the room? That looks like about it so far. But thank you for the heads up, Andy. Hey, here we come. It's going to be an SOR raid, it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and take the computer up to full screen, and I wanted to talk, like I said, it's going to be kind of an Arturia night tonight because they've got some cool stuff out. Yeah, it is way past your bedtime, Andy. I got to ask how long you've been saying night night to folks, you know. So anyway, let's start with what order did I want to do these in? Let me take a look. What did I had a plan. Yeah, I had a plan. So let's see. This is tonight. Minifreak. We'll start with Minifreak. So Minifreak had an update, and both software and hardware. And so I have to mention too that no one has sent me anything for free. Everything is on me. So I started playing around with this Minifreak update, and that kind of spawned the release of the song "Alone" yesterday. And that's on my YouTube, on my website, and on my Bandcamp. But I created a patch and I started playing, and Viral, I had this on my plan before I watched your stream the other night, so I wasn't gonna spin around. But I want to continue. Actually, you did some of it I think yesterday, and I was unable to tune in. But I was playing around with. I just did some regular patches for the song. Which I've just actually brought into my Minifreak V today. So so we're going to pick up, I think, sort of where you left off. Maybe I'm not sure. As I said, I'm sorry I had to miss you yesterday, but. Okay, yeah, this is the one that I was doing. So the thing that really caught my interest, and I think yours too, was the this audio input oscillator, which is really kind of a neat thing. I thought maybe we'd play with that a little bit tonight, just to get a taste for some of the weird things you can do. Let's see, you guys are looking at. Let's make sure you guys are looking at what I want you to look at. Yes, you're seeing this. Yeah, it is quite the update, and I'll mention some things about the granular. But let's see. For the moment, I need to take the chat down, so because I need to show what's underneath of that. So we'll make the chat go away. Maybe there we go. So the way this at least in Ableton Live, the way this oscillator the way the audio in oscillator works, and why do I not see it? Where's my audio in oscillator? Did I not I thought I updated this. There it is. Oh, there it is. I just can't read. So in Ableton Live, you come here to the device down here, and you use the sidechain input to feed the oscillator. So I'm going to do something weird. I'm going to go ahead and take my mic and feed that to the oscillator. You can see it's starting to move a little bit. I may have to punch the gain up there a little bit to get that in there, so we'll do that. 1 1 1 check 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 check. There we go. We got some oscillator. Boy, I had to crank that up a lot. So anyway, we've got this in here now. And if I hit a note, it should come through. You'll start to hear a little bit of it. Maybe. What do I have going on here? Doop-a-doop-a-doop. 1 1 1 1 1. What's it trying? Oh, it's still trying. You know what? Let me start with an init patch. That would be better. Here, new preset. Because it's trying to stumble through all of my other stuff. So go back in here again and re-choose the audio in. There we go. We push on there. We should be able to hear it some. Let's turn the volume up on the synth. There we go. And right now it's being kind of unmolested, so it should just come in as it is. Let's see. Oh, hello. Welcome more folks. Thank you all for coming. So it's kind of unmolested at the moment. But I'm going to go ahead and throw some things at it. So we'll throw the wave folder at my voice. This should be my voice. And when I hold notes, you should hear some weird stuff. So let me douse. Oh, can I do that? Is that going to work? So now you're hearing me just through the Minifreak, which was awfully loud. So now I'm wave folded, you know, and so anything which this now becomes an oscillator. And let me put it back up so you can understand what I'm saying. So now this can be affected or mixed with the other oscillator. So it's really kind of cool. So I could take oscillator 2 and I could just say I'm going to make it, I could do a virtual analog and give it a shape and let's see, turn it up. And now if I add the 2, they're kind of together there, I'm talking over the other. But what gets more interesting is when I come into stuff like this and I use the second oscillator as an effect on the first oscillator. And so let's say we're going to hit it with the we could hit it with we can hit it with the phaser filter. So now if we bring things up, I should hear my voice through the phaser, which is a little weird. Let's change the cutoff a little bit. And so you can start getting some weird effects and whatnot. And voice may not be the best way. This is the first time I've actually tried the voice. So that's a little weird. So ordinarily I'd take, you know, input from another synth. Like we could take, we'll go here and we'll choose input from the Polybrute. That'll work. So now you're hearing the Polybrute, which by itself was sounding like which is already a pretty wild patch. So one of the tricks with this, though, is you have to be holding notes on the Mini-Brute for it to actually play that oscillator. So I'm going to play a D5 chord on the Polybrute, and then I will hit the notes, another note. And what it does, it passes through, so it's not revoicing the chord, whatever's coming in. Yeah, I could turn on the sequencer too. So now you're hearing the oscillator, and, you know, so all the other things can now happen. I can come into here, and I can go into Matrix, and I can say I want to run. We can throw an LFO1 on the cutoff frequency of the filter. And we'll crank the resonance up just so it gets a little freaky. Turn it down. And I may have gone below the frequency that it was really thinking about, so let's turn that back up. But you can't see it, but I'm changing, playing different keys on the controller for the Minifreak, and there's nothing happening as far as pitch change. So this is kind of something that I did. You got to have all these things happening at once. It's kind of something like I did a couple years ago, where I wired the output of a Craft Synth 2 into the input of my Lemon Drop, and set up a thing set up a thing where I was basically sending note data to both instruments at the same time. And I can rig that up here actually in Ableton. Let's see. So let's make it so that Minifreak is getting its note inputs from the Polybrute, like so. So now I'm essentially just using the Minifreak as an effect. And I can turn on its chorus, and I can turn on its delay and reverb. And this is all an experiment, obviously. But you can see, too, and you can't really see exactly what I'm doing. If I go, let's see, here and take you on a wild ride over to look at the Polybrute. This is going to, the upper right camera is going to spin and take us over to the analog land here. So when you had it up the other night, at least when I was watching, I don't know how this works through. I don't know how this works with the actual hardware Minifreak because I don't have one. So it's I don't know if this works with the hardware. To be honest with you, I'm not sure how we get the how we get the audio into the hardware Minifreak. Again, I don't have one, so I'm not sure what. Wagyu hell, hello. So I don't know. Does the Minifreak itself hardware have an audio input? I know the Microfreak does, sort of through the mic or through the headphone jack. So you think hardware Minifreak has a jack? Okay, well that would be helpful because right now, like I said, as you see, I'm having to route it using Ableton Live, which is really kind of cool because I can actually take, if I wanted to, the way I'm set up here, I have what I call the synth bus, and all of the synthesizers, be hardware or software, go to a return bus in Ableton Live, which is right over here called synth. And so I can actually bring that in as the I can actually bring that in as my sidechain input. Now this, of course, the problem of course is that I don't want to do that because the problem with doing that is I'll set up a feedback loop. Okay, so it does have audio. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. As far as space, let's go back to. As far as space is concerned, I mean the Microfreak. The Microfreak is Kent Spong in the house. The Microfreak is the size of a laptop. So and I obviously missed something on the Symptoms of Reality podcast today, or live stream today, because y'all are wagaggling and wagaggling. Kent Thong, oh God! And here we go. Oh my God! Oh jeez, here we go. So anyway, you guys just talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to talk about software here. Go back to the picture of my computer. which is over here. Let's slide this over so the folks who want to see the Minifreak can see the Minifreak. So if you want me to see something, go ahead and tag me or put the big double Q's in front of it, so I see it come by. Otherwise, I'm just going to talk to myself for a while. So anyway, that's the audio in thing, in a nutshell. You can basically pass it through anything in the synth at that point because your audio input becomes another oscillator. You just have to trigger it, and an easy way to do it is in, at least in Ableton, is to just route the MIDI info to two devices. So that's if you use another DAW, your mileage may vary. So the next thing on the Minifreak agenda is the granular stuff. Yes, he had started to, I think, on Wagyu. He had started to talk about the about it yesterday, the actual input yesterday, I think, in any detail. I didn't see that. I had to do other things. I had already had this on my list for tonight before I even saw that he was doing anything with the Minifreak this week. So I'm just rolling along down my plan. I've got my script and I'm sticking with it. So I'm going to go put my spin on the granular engine. Because I'm kind of a granular fiend, so to speak. Okay, you hooked in the hydrosynth, didn't get too far into it. So it's really all the audio in oscillator type does, easy for me to say, is basically allow you to bring in an audio source and use it as an oscillator and affect it just like you would any other oscillator in the synth. You do have the added controls. Let's do this. Let's turn this oscillator off. Just stick it there. Take the volume down. You do have some added effect that you can do. Turn this up. And let me come up with a less freaky sound from sound source. So let me do this a second. We're going to take the sidechain input from take 5, and then I've got to take my MIDI from the take 5, which will be here. And I'll take that from take 5 MIDI. There we go. This is still a pretty freaky sound, but it's a little less weird than the other one. So I can take it. I can wavefold this. Or I can run it through, you can decimate it here within the oscillator, bit crush. But so running my voice through it was kind of sort of, it was a little less exciting than I had hoped it would be. I mean, if I run my voice through it, you're hearing it now in parallel with me. Let me turn it up. Turn that up, and I can fold it. I can do voice folding on my mic, so it sounds like that. And I've got the effects turned on. Get rid of those. So we've got the folder going on, and if I do this enough, give just some of my mic in. I can do the decimator. So we've got this going on. So I found out,
That's actually kind of a fun effect. We take that, take the folder off, and now I can do that kind of sort of space radio um, kind of thing, like, broken transmissions kind of stuff, and do some phasing on it, and which I'm actually doing some, let's see, let's put the phaser on. So we've got that going on, crank the rate up, and make that a little wetter. And so now you've got kind of a weird band radio transmission off in the distance kind of thing. Kind of like what you heard on some things in, actually got to turn this rate down. LFO. Turn that rate way down, and it's kind of sort of like the phasing transmission kind of stuff that was going on in Battlestar Galactica, the reboot, or any number of those kind of things where it's like they're off in the distance and the radio transmission's breaking up. So you guys can barely understand that. And
so I guess Andy, you're getting ready to say night night, which so yeah, there we go. Later, peeps. Andy, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. You have a good night, and Merry Christmas to you. I'm sure we'll see you. I'm sure we'll see you around the interwebs, though, between now and then. Let's see. Kent can pull a muscle thinking about getting out of a chair. Yes. You know what? I'm with you on that, Kent. So anyway, you can do all kinds of weird stuff with the audio in. If we look at let's look at look at some of the granular stuff. And let's see. Let's turn the side chain off. Oh, let's see. No input. There we go. Mute to take 5. There we go. Let's kill that LFO. So the one thing I'll say about the granular engines is that I find them okay. And they're not, super. They're not super complete, and part of that comes from some of the other stuff that I've already been using to do granular, and so I'm kind of sort of biased a little bit. I had the same kind of reaction to when they put the granular engine into the Microfreak. I had a kind of similar reaction. It was like, okay, it's fine. It does a thing. But I will say the granular engine granular engines in here are a little more complete, obviously, than the Microfreak. But say 2 are great. Yeah. Okay. So and I've just I haven't I downloaded this actually. I actually downloaded this, first started playing this while I was watching your stream the other night, and I need more time to spend with it too. And Paul, I really do like granular a lot, but it's. I just find these the ones that Arturia have put out to be okay, and just they're not fabulous. Oh, that's not going to work well, is it? Well, maybe because what I'm used to, and I'll show you what I'm used to for granular. Let's get a. We'll put this away for the moment, and again, I'm going to go full screen with the PC. And let's see. Let's find something that would be good to put through a granular engine. We'll do something in Vital since I've got that loaded up. So we'll go over to this track, and let's see. Go into Effects here. Plugins, audio effects, not from Arturia. Where is it? Which one do I want? That? Yes. So, I get into granular and I'm looking at stuff like this. So, first thing we'll do is we'll bypass it and we'll get a sound going in Vital, which I need to assign to a keyboard. I'm still having a little issue with USB sometimes with one thing too many. Let's turn the track on. So let's see what we got here for a patch. Vital, make it pretty simple. Yeah, that's not the init preset. That's something I was fooling around with. Oh, this is from fooling around with wavetables a couple weeks ago. So let's grab just a. Oh, I got some new presets from Signs of Reality or Signs of Life. I don't think they're great for this, but we can try it. Let's see. Let's take one of his leads. How does this sound? Nope, too patty. Yeah, let me get a and oops, not that dummy. Really? Okay, let's do all. And why am I? Okay, I guess everyone's in there. I just have a lot of his. That's why. You want to mine? Do this attack drone, I think. Nope, not that one either. Trying to find something that's not too way out there and. Yeah, that'll be a good source for granular. So, we take that. We got this sound, and so we'll turn this guy on. And I'm used to a lot more, shall we say, granular control over my granular. And let's see. I can do things like how much is going backwards and, all this kind of. Get into my stereo spread and placement. So I'm used to a lot of, a huge amount of control over, over my granular engines and, doing all this kind of shaping and all these things. And so this is the kind of thing that I judge my granular by. So when I get into this, into the Minifreak, I have and having a lot less control. Why does it look like I'm still? What am I controlling it with? I get a little. It comes off to me as all comes off to me as kind of meh, and I'm not saying it's bad because it's good. It's it's decent. We can make some nice sounds. And it's too late for us to show Andy, but you know, we can even do some pretty cool drones, probably. I will need to probably supplement it with a like that 1 octave. So we can take this and we can bring in a little help for it. Turn this guy way down. Put LFO2 into oscillator 2 morph. Yep, it does look like Andy's actually gone. We say that in a couple seconds, he'll pop up. Yep, still here. Right, I'm going to switch the MIDI input over to the Control S. It's a little easier to play, so it's not at a weird angle. He's gnoming to bed. So you know, these are, again, I think these are okay. You know, cloud grains is nice. Let's try the hit grains. I didn't like this one in the Minifreak at all. Yeah, that doesn't really do much for me. We crank the density up. So this would be cool. That would be cool if I could combine that with another, you know, another granular oscillator. In order to really make it useful in this case, I've got to mix it with something like this. And even so, it's, you know, overpoweringly loud. Hey, Don. Good to see you. And I guess if I could do things like change the shape and the let's see, I suppose you could do this. Where did that show up? Where is that? Oh, it's this one. So if we put the cycling envelope into that, maybe, and set the rise. That's not where I wanted that to be, though, is it? I wanted that to be where is that density? Oh, it's this one. And you get this kind of weird So I mean, it's you can do some cool stuff with it, but oh, I can make the oscillator free run. Nice. Let's see. Turn that density down and make it. But see, here's the kind of thing. It's something like this. I'd really like to be able to run this through 2 filters, and I've only got 1 filter to play with here. And I'm going to change this wave here to something a little less harsh. And that's one thing that I run into a lot with the with both of the freaks. There's not a lot of stuff that's not harsh. You know, it's all, which isn't bad. It's just I like to have some more options. Okay, what's controlling this? This guy. One more of that. Well, so almost, yeah, Paul. There's a lot of parallels here. Hey Neil, yeah. So Minifreak's a great little synth. Don't get me wrong. It's just I guess spoiled by other things that are in the room. You know. Ace of Stripe, welcome. Good to see you. My my buddy, formerly from across the county, or 1 county over, I guess. Yeah, I personally don't see any need to pick up the hardware for myself. I mean, you know, I think the software does fine. The nice thing with the software is I can have 2 or 3 of them loaded up if I want. So if I run out of voices, you know, I just double everything up. So I guess there's a use case for the hit grains engine. Let's see. And they've got the frozen one. Let's kill this guy for the moment. But so one thing that I'm seeing here that I've got, you know, I'm missing, you know, from this granular engine, these granular engines, all of them really, is I don't have that direction. You know, I don't have the control over forward reverse kind of the scanning of the samples, which I think is kind of an important part of the granular engine. The money pen. I would suspect, Paul, that there will be a module version of the multi-poly. I would suspect that'll be coming. I don't suspect that we'll see one from. I don't think that we'll see one from Arturia for this. And so, talking about this is I think there's a lot of cases where the software and the hardware kind of go hand in hand. And I kind of sort of got into that workflow when I got the first modal stuff that I've got, because I get the option of the tactile experience plus the flexibility of the software. And so the same goes for me with the multi-poly and with the wave state. I've got that combination of tactile and software control that really works well. And I can set anything up so that once the sound is designed and everything, then I can say, okay, on the macros, I'm going to put these best use controls so that it becomes now the performance becomes relatively easy and flexible. So I like that. Really like the software hardware combination. And I wish more manufacturers would do that and have it work well. Because there's some that are out there that they out there, but they don't have them. So anyway, and looking at the looking at the selection of sources for the granular oscillators, there's a bunch of them, and I see a thing that says sample presets. It says factory, so I've not played much with the Minifreak. I've had the software since it came out, but I've not played a whole lot with it. It really hasn't super excited me, to be honest with you, as much as other things that I have. So, that's I should probably put some more time into it, honestly. I will admit that I've been lacking there. Excuse me. Wonder what this kalimba sounds like. That's pretty. Let's play with that. See if we can. I'm going to increase the resonance on the filter, turn the cutoff down. So, Viral, quick, if you're still there, I hope you're still in the chat. How do you think the filter in the software compares with the hardware, or have you really looked at it? And I'm just curious about that. I don't know if this is going to make any change in any buying decisions or anything on my part. I'm just curious about that. Bring that down. Haven't looked too much into it. Okay. Yeah, I haven't. I don't have the hardware to compare it with, unfortunately. I would suspect, Asif, that they are very close. I mean, as good as Arturia is at modeling things that they don't make, I would suspect that they could really model their own stuff really well. I can only guess that they can do that. I'm sure their models of their own filters are really good. Whoops, sorry guys. I don't think I need to crank the resonance on Aftertouch up quite that much. So yeah, that is one thing I've noticed. The filter on the Minifreak to me is not as interesting as the filter on the Microfreak or as the filter pairs on the Brutes. with that said, we've got three basic filters. We've got low pass, band pass, and high pass, and so there's not a whole lot of fun to have. And so, quite by accident, I've turned a kalimba into a choir. That was not really where I wanted to go. Yeah, I think the other oscillators are more interesting. I think we could take this and we could grab. We could take the formant oscillator and we can drop it down an octave. Give it some volume. Now, see, here's a case where I would like to not pass this oscillator through the filter. Like to be able to bypass the filter. Maybe we'll put this back in the same octave. Oh, I'm off by a 7. Why is it out of tune? I missed. There we go. Yeah. So the MPE support would be nice. If I don't have an MPE controller at this point, but that would it is kind of surprising, I guess, that they didn't do that. I don't know. Because boy, there sure will be a lot of things to play with, in an MPE setup with this. I'm kind of in the minority, though. I'd like to see a Freak with 37 or 49 full size touch keys. I really like the idea of alternative controllers, and so I actually, again, in the minority, I like the capacitive keys on the Microfreak. I think they're really fun, and so something like that on a Freak, or a really even just a really good 5 manuals and bells. A really good poly aftertouch keyboard would be good. Let's see something here. I'm going to make this just aftertouch. So I'm playing it now with the Control S. If you listen carefully, you can hear I'm playing the poly aftertouch. So when the after NAMM, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago? I can't remember which now. When they were talking about bringing the Minifreak out, there was they had an open forum online to discuss what people wanted in the Oh, that'd be sweet, Wagyu. Um, what people wanted in the next freak. Um, and the list was long. And I do have to say that they came up with they came up with a good 85-90% of what people wanted in the first blush of the mini freak. Um, there is, I think there's definitely room for um, oh, I don't know, we can't call it super freak because that's taken. But Jeff, welcome. It's Monday. This is a weird time of year. I don't know what day it is either half the time. So it's easy to figure out or to forget when you are. Let's see. What did Paul just say? Still play keys. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, I will say that the mini keys, um, Arturia's mini keys are good. I mean, there's some of the better. They're not Hydrosynth good, not Hydrosynth Explorer good, but they are very good. And even their full size, slightly undersized regular aftertouch keys are pretty nice. They're light and fast, but they're nice. They have a nice feel. It takes about 15 minutes to get used to them. You know. Yeah, I know. I understand. It's a big freak with an origin style virtual modular. That would be interesting. But and so, but looking at that Wagyu, you got to remember some of these oscillators had some of the oscillator types in the freaks had their origin in modular. So you can essentially build one of the freaks in a modular setup. There's it would not be that hard to do. There'll be a lot of modules involved, but you could certainly do it. Um, you know, and then you'd have all the module, all the matrix stuff you could ever want. Um, well, and so the mutable instrument stuff, at some level, they were actually involved in parts of it. And so I mean, it was not a just grab the code and go like other folks have done. But so I mean, it's out there in modular land. So you could build a freak in modular. At great expense, I might add, because my feelings about modular. It's a hole in the studio into which you throw money. Um, and Roland's old keyboards are keybeds are pretty good too. I've played them. Um, they're fine. But the point is, if you get into modular, you do MIDI to CV, and you can play it with whatever keybed you want. Um, well, so that's interesting, Wagyu, because there are videos online where they're sitting there in the same room talking about co-developing these things. So I don't know what their deal is there. Um, Again, there are interviews online and segments online from with them saying what it was that they contributed and how they worked together on it. So I'm not going to argue it, but that's again the video is out there. Um, so anyway, is what it is. Um, the stuff's there, and. And in fact, in the interviews for this, in the NAMM interviews, I think everyone was sitting there in the same room, or at least on the same Zoom or whatever it was they were doing those things with. So I know there was some. There was conversation. I know there was conversation, but Anyway, not to belabor. So let's see. Have we gone through its scan? I will say there seems to be a lot of folks contradicting each other and themselves in the industry over the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, um, which is I think, kind of disappointing. Um, and yeah, Jeff, we were just talking about them putting MPE into the Minifreak. I don't know why they don't. Well, maybe they don't have enough processor power to do it. That's the only thing I can think. Personally, for a lot of things, I'm perfectly happy with Poly Aftertouch, which this does do. I wonder if you could take. I'm thinking. Are there MPE controllers that have um, um, a more of like a MIDI 2.0 mode where uh, they can send, instead of using all 16 channels or up to 16 channels to send everything on individual channels, um, do they have the ability to map a bunch of the parameters into a single MIDI channel? Um, I'll have to go back and see if I can find the videos by go. I know there were conversations you uh, with Emily and folks from Mutable and folks from Arturia in the room, in the same room or on the same stream, talking about how they were done. Um, oh yeah, okay. It would be the bends that would be the hard part, but a lot of the other stuff would not be hard, or would be less hard. Let's put it that way. Um, my brain is thinking. Well, Poly Aftertouch is definitely doable. I'm doing it right now. When you can hear the. You can hear me affecting the individual notes with the aftertouch. Um, yeah, the poly bends are really cool. Some of the other expression is really neat too. I don't necessarily need the thing affecting notes individually from the instant I touch the key, like on the. Although I would, I'm sure I would love that if I had it. Um, but yeah, the bends are really neat, and I personally, um, well, actually, I like both. I would say I personally prefer the Osmos over like the Seaboard, but I like them both. I think they both work equally well in there, and I find them both equally easy to play. Um, uh, or you could do it with a touchpad interface. Although that you'd have to be reading capacitance in an XY grid, which is not easy. Might be easier to do that with resistive technology, uh, because then you could end up with some. Well, actually, capacitive is not that hard now that I think about it because they got the Morphe, and that works really well. Yeah, you know, I've got the Morphe on the Polybrute. You know, it's part and parcel to the instrument, and it's I'll tell you what, I love that. That thing is oh, it's still droning away. Look at that. I love things like the Morphe, and I like ribbon controllers and stuff like that. So it's you know, if you hear a lot of my jams, actually I didn't this particular patch. I didn't match the. I haven't finished it yet, and so I haven't mapped the ribbon controller to that. So anyway, so that was kind of the look at Minifreak, and we got what else do I have on my list for tonight? Oh yeah, oh you need to go by the. So the interesting thing, and again, the interesting thing about that is there were videos on. There were videos on that on the with her on Arturia's website at one point, talking about all the new things that they were doing together with the new engines for Microfreak specifically, and I assume the Minifreak as well. So I again don't know. I don't know if they've been pulled off of the Arturia site or not. So, strange days, strange things. So, Wagyu, if I don't know if the chat will let you post a link to that or not. Or you know what? Yeah, I hope so too. Wagyu, do me a favor. If you can stick the link to that in the comma. Okay. Can you stick the link to that in the comments? Will it let you do that? Somehow I'd like to see the. I'd like to see the. I'd like to read that because again, it's just kind of a weird part of history that a lot of things. There's a lot of things at that time that went a little weird. So yeah, if you can post that, that'd be in the comments. That'd be fantastic. I would appreciate it. So I think that's going to about do for Minifreak for now. Okay, well, if it ends up in the mod queue, that'd be fine. That'd be great, and then I'll figure out a way to get it into, or I'll let it. I will if it comes into the mod queue on the comments, I'll approve it definitely. And I'll actually when it gets time to do the cards at the end of the thing, I'll see if it'll let me post that link. I don't know if I have enough. I don't know. I don't know if I have enough YouTube clout like views and viewers and all that kind of stuff to put an external link in a card. I'll get it there somehow or another if you can get it to me. So let's see. Let me put this back or try and remember where it was. I don't even remember what patch I was using on this. Put this back sort of with something that'll fit with everything else. Go to here. Go to one of mine. Might have been leader of flow. Nope, that's not it. Oh, format pad, that's the one I was playing with. All right, that's really loud now. I'll turn that down. Sorry, guys, didn't mean to blow your ears out. Okay, good. All right, so let's see. Let's put that away for now. Because the other thing that I wanted to, and again, I'll reiterate, I didn't get any. I've not gotten anything from Arturia for tonight either. But they've done a bunch of stuff, and I kind of sort of made it our plan to be an Arturia night. They just came out with the new augmented synth, and I've really liked the augmented synths since they started coming out. Let me make sure I am on the right channel. Oh, I'm playing that with the augmented mallets. I put this one up on the Key Lab because the controls all line up. So a lot of these are really pretty. I used there was another thing that fell into the Christmas song that I released this week, and sorry, it's a downer of a song, but it just all kind of came together. It's not a happy Christmas tune, but maybe we'll play it as the outro tune for tonight. So for those who don't really know what's going on with these synths, the sustained sounds are beautiful, even from things that you don't expect to be sustained. So the thing that everybody should get this. Everybody should go to Arturia's site and download it because it's free through the 2nd of January. So even if you get it and never use it again, it's definitely worth the price of admission, as I say. So one thing so Paul mentions putting an LFO on the morph control. And so if you've got I'm assuming you can do it with this version. I know I can do it with the other ones. Let's see. Where is it? Where's the thing? Can I do that in this one? They do an augmented bundle. It does not have this one in it yet. So it's so it's got like 5 or 6 of the other augmenteds, but it does not have this one yet. And why am I not seeing the? Oh, okay. So this doesn't have all the background stuff done yet. Okay. I thought it was out. I thought the full version was out. So they're just kind of like teasing me even with this one. Gonna have to have words with those boys. Wait a minute. Hold on here. So I don't have the full editing controls for this yet then. Well, that's kind of a bummer. There's a lot of these under the hoods. Yeah, I didn't know this was truncated either because they've got a demo. And then they've got this. So I went ahead and grabbed this. Now I wonder, oh, you know what? Here's the key right here. Looking right at the screen. Augmented Mallets Play. So I was hoping that I'd be able to jump in and do like in the other augmenteds. Let's just grab one and stick it on I'll make a new MIDI track here. So on the other augmented synths, let's put this away for the moment, and we go to plugins, instruments from Arturia. And if I go to like augmented Yangtzee, this is one of my favorites. We'll go ahead and put that on a new track, and boom. I'm not going to bother routing it to around everywhere like I usually do. But if I go into the advanced tab here, basically you've got a cut down version of Pigments in here. Yeah, I definitely have the license in my account, and maybe when they do, maybe when they do the full version, I'll get the full version as part of the deal. Probably not. They're probably going to want $49 from me, which okay, I'll probably buy it. It's not that. It's certainly worth the usual. I got so much of the rest of their stuff. They almost they do give a pretty good price to folks who have other stuff. But basically, you've got a nearly you got a big chunk of pigments in these instruments and these augmented instruments, and so in this one, actually, let me go ahead real quick. I'm going to take the chat down so I can see what I'm doing. Actually, I'll just do it in the background. Let me put this on the synth bus, send it to, where is it to? Sends only. There we go. So I can go in here and do all the, A/B layering and stuff that you can do with, pigments. Just not quite as much of it. And so when the full version of the Mallets come out, I'm going to guess we're going to have this same kind of interface where you've got the two layers. Each layer is made up of two oscillators, usually a sampler and a synth of some sort. Although there are some that are different combinations. And like in this case, the second synth in this particular patch on layer A is a granular synth, and it's the full on Pigments granular synth with all of those controls that I want, and a little more granular control, so to speak. And you can have, just like in Pigments, you can have more than one sample loaded as part of the thing. So it's a much more full-on device. Is Yangtzee MPE? Yes, it is. It is MPE. It is probably under the chat for you guys. It's right there where my mouse is sitting. So, Asaph, I will say that, especially when you're in synths like this one, really you've only got the 9 knobs that are in play on a keylab. So I use. Yes, it was not part of the last V collection, and I don't know if Yangtzee is in the augmented collection this year. It'll probably show up next year. Anyway, back to Asaph's comment about a controller. A lot of times I use the Native Instruments Control S and run it through Analog Lab. Or a lot of the new, actually I think almost all of the Arturia plugins are now NKS compatible, so you can load them in complete control, and then you get a whole plethora of controls. In fact, I will show you. Let's make this go away. We'll make this. I'm going to go here. Fold this up. We'll grab Native Instruments. We'll take complete control, drag down here. 49 key. So yeah, I mean the the Arturia, their Keylab 40, their Keylabs, the Keylab 49 and the 61, they're made for their stuff. So things just map automatically there. But their new stuff, like I said, is also NKS compatible. So if you've got a control, the new Control S Mark III, if you put complete control on a track and then load up an appropriate synth in complete control, and we're playing with Yangtzee here, we can put this puppy up here, and I'm just going to grab, what was that sound we were playing with? Doesn't really matter. We'll grab this delicate flute, that one's pretty. Okay, so now we've got this loaded, and I don't need this thing showing. So here we've got the interface, just like you would expect. We can go into the Advanced tab, do the whole thing. But let me do this. Let me push a couple buttons here, and I want to get camera 2 in the appropriate position, which will be shot 2, I believe. So if you have a Control S Mark III controller, I now get on my screen, let me check and see if I got one better shot here. Nope, I don't. Shoot. Go back. Okay, so let's put this up on screen here. I want computer and Cam 2. So what I have now on the screen of the Control S, and actually I'm going to go ahead and put it up here. So on the Control S, I now have the controls from the augmented synth. So at this point now I have the things that would be. I've got the morph. I've got the color. The basic controls here, right there. If I go into edit mode, I have everything. So all of the tabs that were in the plugin are now here right on the controller, and I actually have. I think most of the layout is actually even better than the plugin or on the Arturia keyboard. So all of this is now available right here, and like I said, I've got actually more control on this than I would have with the no, the Gen 1 complete controls don't have anything. And frankly, the Gen 1 complete controls don't work with any of the newer stuff. They don't work with the new version of the complete control software. You've got to stay on version 2.94 or something like that, or earlier. So this thing wasn't cheap, but definitely worth the price of admission. And I've got a Gen 1 61 key sitting over there in the closet. This thing is gives me, like I said, all the control. I can go into the sampler. I can choose volume, all the stuff. And there's 3 screens of sampler stuff. I can choose. About the only thing I can't do here, it looks like, is I can't choose the actual sample that's loaded into the sampler. But that's that's where you start getting into dropping the 2. Navy subs have used 2 S88s as anchors. I'm kind of changing things at random, but I don't know which. This is where I like to be able to see things on screen. So if I pull this up here, if I were in the Advanced tab, as I'm changing the stuff, the appropriate stuff here on the, oh, we need to see both, don't you? Let's see, that guy. You know, as I'm making changes, and I'll go back to the Master tab for the moment, and back to here. You know, if I grab the morph control, I've got so anyway, I'll be looking forward to. Oh, and I can go back to the DAW mode on here, and just jump over to Mallets. Now I don't have Mallets loaded in complete control, so it's not going to show up as a plugin, I don't think. No, it won't let me load the plugin interface. The only things at this point that that work with the complete control keyboards natively are Contact 8, Contact 7, I think, and Contact 8 instruments. They will show up. They've co-opted the complete control browser into the new versions of Contact, the new full versions of Contact, actually in the free player as well. And so you have direct control with the keyboard of Contact instruments. But that's the only thing so far that's dropped that's fully NKS. But any instrument for Contact will work that way, natively, or appear to be natively anyway. Let's see. So anyway, the only other thing that is going on in the Arturia world that I found really interesting, and I wasn't gonna find it interesting. I will say that I had no intention of getting this, and that's this new Tape J37 thing. And you can see I'm actually running. I've got it on my master track, and which means I want to bring up a question, and this is you're gonna have to look at the screen and tell me something. So I'm running all of my audio through Ableton Live, and so I'm going to bring this up full screen. I want you to tell me how close does my audio sync to my lip sync? How close does that appear? Is it Quasor? Welcome. Is it close? And so the other thing that I'm going to do is, this is I've got effects in my master track, which may or may not affect the okay. So sync looks perfect. So right now I'm running, like I said, through this deck as a mastering effect. It's telling me that I've got 5.3 milliseconds of latency within, and you can't see it at the moment, I don't think. Now you can see down here in the lower left, when I hover over the tape, it's telling me I got 5.3 milliseconds of latency involved. And then the limiter hits another 2.7, and span doesn't do anything. So I've got, what's that? 5.3 plus 2.7 is 8 milliseconds of delay. And I can't hardly even hear it right in my headphones. So, that was some discussion. Elsewhere earlier today about having effects like this in your master chain, and the latency that it causes. But if you guys aren't seeing any delay, good to see you. Thanks for coming, Lamont. Appreciate it. Have a great night. Yeah, it is getting late. We're coming up on 10 o'clock. So I can hear it. I can hear latency under 10 milliseconds, you know, if I've got it like right now, right now I'm listening in earbuds and I'm hearing the whole chain through the earbuds. I can hear just a slight delay. Um, so it's real. I mean, it's a thing. And the other thing too, um, that may be involved is I'm using a wire because of some hit the volume control, because of some trying to move around and trying to move around. I kept getting tangled up, so I've gone to a wireless in-ear monitor rig, which introduces a little bit of latency in and of itself. And so, Jeff, the deal is that when you sing or speak and there's latency, you notice it. Now I've been using wireless in-ears for playing and singing for the last 3 or 4 years, and so I've gotten used to the delay. But if if you start getting into the 20 milliseconds or better, it starts to get a little disturbing. And like I said, I don't know what my total latency is right now because there's whatever the latency is involved in the interface as well. I guess I could look at that. We could look and see what my settings are. I go here and audio. And so right now this is telling me my round trip latency is 20.8 milliseconds. So there's a chunk of latency going on, and I don't find it noticeable, and it's not throwing sync off. So uh, I'm going to say now I'm not throwing ozone or anything in there. That's a little more intensive, but this is wanting some juice, and it's got its own. Well, like I say, it's putting in that 256 samples at 48 kilohertz, and so the whole thing is adding up to more than the 20 milliseconds that the interface is doing by the time you delay the delay. But I think I was not going to buy this, and I think Jeff, you and I talked about this on the Discord. I wasn't going to buy this, and I had no plans. I did not need a tape emulation. I didn't think, but this thing it's so pretty. It's very, very, very subtle, but it definitely gives something, and I can't really put I can't put it in words. Now I've not played with the delay loop thing yet, and the only part of it I don't like. I think the drive gets really heavy. I think it gets really heavy. Really fast. So yeah, sure, I can A/B it. Let me go ahead and put it up full screen. So right now I'm running the dirtiest tape emulation they've got. I'm running it at full 15 IPS, just a little bit of drive. Okay. So to A/B it, we'll go ahead and take it out, and so it's out now. So yeah, I do notice in my ears. I can hear the difference in the latency. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it back on, and here we're back on. I've got just a little tiny bit of noise dialed in, just a little bit of the instability dialed in. The EQ is basically flat. Maybe just a little touch of pulling back just a little bit of touch. We'll go back. So let's see. We can take the hiss out because I turned the hiss on. So I can turn. I've got 10 dB of noise coming in there. So let's make that go away. Okay, so the hiss is out. And I can take take this whole. I'm going to turn that back up where I like it. I like if I'm going to do tape, I want a little hiss there. So you can pull it out. It's fine. I can take this whole instability and noise thing out, just go like that, and that should take out all of that hiss and any of the little wow and flutter stuff that was going on. So it's fully adjustable like that, which I think is fantastic. And like I said, I have not played with the delay loop, but we can. And Don, you say it's very subtle. I specifically wanted it to be very subtle, so I'm not. And I've got a little tinnitus too. The saturation. Let's see, where are we set? I'm going to make sure we're set at 9 dB. So if I turn that saturation up, it starts to get crunchy real fast, and I don't think it's crunchy in a good way, personally. So we can dump over to the cleaner tape and go to the pristine tape. And I can push it a little further, but I'm still not really, I'm not keen on the on the saturation or the drive. But, it's not, I think it gets a little too heavy, a little too fast, and it's a little too brittle for my taste. Now, if I turn modern on, we can push it a little further before it starts to get heavy. But it's a nice, I think it adds a nice dimension. And part of my question about the thing initially was, what does this do for me that like Tape Mello-Fi does not? And what's the big difference? And I think this is just a little sweeter. I mean, I can throw Tape Mello-Fi on here real quick. It's not that hard to do. Arturia, here we go. We'll throw Mello-Fi in here before the limiter. And I will bypass J37. Yangtzee is fantastic, isn't it, Jeff? There's a couple of songs on my Bandcamp. Path of the Mystic uses it, and I think one of the other ones, Marina's Call, I think also has some of the Yangtzee stuff in it. It is amazing. So now I'm talking to you through the Tape Mello-Fi plug-in, and so it's got a different sound. Sorry, Jeff. There's a bunch of stuff I did not intend to buy myself, so there's that. So this is a little crunchier, definitely. You've got a little more control over things like tape and deck wear. So it starts to get crunchy. I wouldn't necessarily call this a mastering effect though, like I sort of put the J37 up as, but I can bring in the noise. I've got some noise. There's you can crunch up the drive, and the drive on. So I think the drive on this is actually a little better. Step away from the buy button. The nice thing about Arturia is the more stuff you buy, the deeper the discounts get. So anyway, I was wondering, what does one do for me that the other doesn't? And I think this ends up being more of an effect, whereas and tape, J37 may be intended as an effect, but to me, I think it's almost more of a mastering effect. That's the way, at least that's the way I'm going to use it. So what did you maybe accidentally? For the demo, okay. I would say, did you accidentally buy something, Jeff? You know? um, I, so, and it just a thing, and this was a discussion that I had with this will happen. Um, I had initially gone down the Native Instruments path of destruction, and went all in for complete. And I like the stuff. I mean, every part of it I like. Part of the reason I went that route was because I wanted the new version of Absinthe, which I've used maybe twice since I bought all this stuff. But I wanted Absinthe, and there was a couple other things. I wanted the older reactor, which I could still get, and I was used to. And so I went ahead and I did not buy. I only bought a few things from Arturia. And in the long run, I ended up buying everything from Arturia, and I use it more than the Native Instruments stuff, with the exception of now that Native Instruments has done the next set of updates on the Control S. I I use the Control S to control the Arturia software, especially since Arturia has been adding NKS compatibility to everything. So, so I like, the as far as that goes, I end up using more of the Arturia stuff than I do of the Native Instruments. Most of what I use now in Native Instruments is contact instruments, and I'm really liking their Session Percussionist plugin, which I think is built on Contact. So, I could have lived in the Contact world perfectly happily, I guess, in the long run. So Don, when you talk about the Korg software synths, are you talking about the native series that are the the Op6 and Wave State and Mod Wave, or are you talking about some of their other stuff like Triton and all those things as well? Because I've not tried any of those. Um, you found their GUIs unusable, Paul. In what way are they unusable? And is it because of your fingers, I guess is the question, that it's unusable, or is it the design? Okay, so Don's got the full boat everything from Korg. I have not played with um, any of the Korg soft synths beyond the native series for the R&D RPI synths. And I toy with it sometimes because in some ways in some ways I do miss my Kronos, and the Triton was inside the Kronos among other things. Karma was also inside the Kronos, and a couple of other things were in there that weren't quite in the Triton yet, but. So I toy with it sometimes, getting that, but I haven't pulled the trigger. I do have Op6 and Wave State software. Um, I don't have the Mod Wave software. I played with the demo and I really liked it. I just never got around to buying it. Um, so so anyway, Paul, like I said, what was it about the GUIs that weren't usable for you? Curious, because the thing about the GUIs with at least with the contact instruments, that is up to the designer of the instrument to design the GUI, and I find some more usable than others. Honestly, it really depends on how much time and effort the designer puts into it. For instance, and I've talked about it before, but we can pull up. Like I really like. Oh, so the scaling, yeah. So there's reasons for that. There are good technical reasons for that, but I agree that it is annoying. Um, the In your old workspace, I would say you should be able to read them in your current workspace without too much trouble. Let me grab. Where was I going? Oh, it was contact. So let's grab contact real quick. Native Instruments. Yeah, he uses a 65-inch screen. You know, if you can't read that, I don't know. So I'll grab Contact 8. We'll throw that out here somewhere. Wild and fancy free. And minimize that. Should have just pulled that up in pulled this up in contact and complete control, but that's all right. Put this over here where I can see what I'm doing. Take this, throw it on the synth bus, send it to sends only. So like if I go down here and we load up this guy, and I've talked about this one on the channel before, you know, I like this synth, but I do find the GUI to be very dense. You know, there's a lot of little controls here, and you know I can scale it. I can't. I can make it. I can zoom it. You know, I can make it bigger, but it's only in increments. So. And it's like I said, it's I can't grab it and scale it. I'd like to be able to just grab it and freeform scale it, and maybe that'll be a 9. I don't know. But you know, again, we were talking too about the GUIs. You know, this is the GUI designed from the designer of this particular synth from Ocean. OSS, you know, and that we talked about for the last few weeks, and you know, yes, there are rules that are violated for art, and you know, I will say, you know, in the case of this one, at least there's decent contrast, you know, for the primary controls. You know, if something is turned off. The function is turned off, it's gray. So obviously you're not going to be able to control it. You turn it on, it lights up to let you know that it's on. So this one's pretty well thought out. But yeah. But there are some, I agree, there are some that are really hard to get your head around the GUI. Not so much in Contact, because I think Native Instruments have kind of clamped down on they've done an Apple and kind of said, okay, these are your basic shapes. You know, you've got sliders and you've got knobs, and you can size them a little bit, but these are your basic shapes. You got push buttons, and you know, I think they've put some effect or put some limitations on what you can do in Contact. Where things get out of control is Reactor, and Reactor is a GUI free for all. You know, put this guy. Let me grab Reactor, and I hope I've got this set up well to do this. I may or may not. Oh, I don't use this very much anymore. I used to use, but when Reactor first came out, I used it all the time. Yeah. Well, you know, the the folks with claws have different panels. Where is this thing? File. Open. Yeah, never mind. Not going to go that way. How did I get to that thing before? I want... Oh, well, let me find. Okay, I want to play. That's what I want to do. I want to play. Okay. And now I want to find... This is not what I want. Where do I have this thing? I've got a really cool Reactor instrument, and I can't remember where it's sitting. It's not a form, you know. It's somebody else's instrument. Let me see if I can find this real quick. If it takes me more than about another 2 minutes, I'm going to say forget it. But maybe if I maybe I can find it complete control more easily. I don't think so though. Let's go to here. Where is it? Hang on a sec. Sorry, I had to cough. Oh, shoot. Well, I may not be able to show this, but I have a really cool reactor instrument, but the UI is just bizarre. And I don't think it's going to show up down here. No, it's not going to. Shoot. Let's see. Maybe. Of course, there's also the question is, did I actually even put it on this machine yet? Let's put reactor 6 back up. Play. Boop-a-doo. File. Open. Oh, maybe it's, is it recent? No. Let's see. It's not going to be in here. I'm going to have to, I'll pull it up another night. It's called Crude, and it's a software version of a really interesting drone and Krell oscillator device thing. And I wish I could find it because, like I said, it's really cool. So anyway, well, we digress. Let's see. What else have I got on for tonight? Anything? 677. Have to look at my list. No, that was it. Okay, cool. It's not Drone E. This one again. I wish I could find it real quick. Let me see if I'm going to drive the computer differently, and I'm going to go to. That's a good place to start. Search for Crude. Let it think about that for a while. I can hear the remaining physical hard drive in here grinding away over there in the corner. I don't know if you can hear it in the background or not. There's an old Western Digital 4 terabyte drive in the computer. Aha! There it is. Is that it? I don't know. Maybe reactor preset. Okay, cancel this. Yeah, I know. Error, 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 error. Go away. Close. Let's drag this. Well, let's see. This is where. Well, maybe just be able to drag it onto the interface. So let's see here. Open that up. Go back to here. Can I just drag that on there? No. Cannot open for reading, huh? Well, that kind of sucks. All right, we'll have to figure out why that's not working. Oh, okay, so it's not on the machine. Huh. Or at least not where it belongs. All right, well, I'll have to find out for another day because I do want to use that for some other stuff. So anyway, what do I have up on this? What are you guys looking at? You're guys looking at Windows, okay. Got Contour last night. People talking about the So you know, I've got the so I got complete. I didn't get the hugest complete. I've got complete standard. There is a lot of really neat stuff in there. And I do, you know, one thing I really have been liking a lot is this percussion. Um, you know, the session percussionist. It does. I played a lot with this on the channel last week, and a few other weeks. So a lot of the new contact instruments are really cool, and you know, one of the things I really like about Native Instruments is that if you got version 3, you know, of complete, and you want to upgrade to version 15, you know, it's one upgrade price, and it's reasonably affordable to go to the same version of or the same level, no matter what version you're on. You know, you could be on 1 and go all the way to 15. Um, I have yet to make any contact ensembles or instruments, and I've thought about it. I also had thought about trying to do some decent sampler instruments, and I'm not going to mess with it. There's folks out there that are already doing it much better than I'll ever do it, and you know, I will buy theirs. You know, with both of them, folks like with Decent Sampler, there's a whole bunch of folks making some really neat instruments, especially David, who developed the thing. Venus Theory makes a few. Cameron makes a few. Ben Jordan has made some really nice ones for Decent Sampler. Decent Sampler is free, you know, and it's really grown into a pretty full-featured or a very full-featured competitor to Contact. The thing with Contact is there's a huge library of really cool instruments available for the player only version. That you know, the Pythora thing that I had up a few minutes ago, that works just fine in the player. So the only cost is the actual instrument that you want to use in the player. There are other ones out there. If you want to be able to use the free player, I think you have to give Native Instruments some money and put it into their licensing system. And I don't know what their deal is exactly for how all that works. Again, I've not been interested enough in creating my own instruments to do that. So, you know, to me, if you need the full version with something that I put together, you know, like I said, I've not really put anything together. If I do put something out there, it's going to be probably for Decent Sampler, because that's a little easier to program for, I think, maybe. It seems a little more straightforward to me. But you know, one thing with, you know, Paul says that it's easy to spray a folder of samples across across the keyboard and tweak, and the making up, so you can make up a GUI, and then if you're setting up for a Native Instruments controller, you know, you can take advantage of the light guide thing, so you can show people where things are on the keyboard. Like if I'm into the where is it, the percussion thing, and I'm into the plugin setup. Let's see. Let me get the camera pointed down there again. Camera 2 is plugged. It's plugged in the right place already. So we'll go ahead and look at this guy. So if you're looking on the, you can look here. You can see you get different colors, you know, and you can see it's like these are. I've got the patterns playing in the background. So you see as it changes this group of keys here that are playing, for this particular one, it's just one of the instruments, but you can see as it changes the note that it's playing here, it changes the pattern that's playing for that particular instrument. And in the case of this guy up here, that's just no, that is a pattern. Interesting that they don't have any instruments assigned where there's no light lit. They don't have a sound assigned to that key. So if I were to stop this, which will take it a moment to do. Some number of bars have to play out here. Okay, there we go. So if I go ahead and hit this, oh, you know what? I gotta have that should be playing. You do have the sequence running, right? Yeah, that should be playing. What's going on with that? Okay, so why is that not doing that? Control S is the source, MIDI from. Oh, I know why. Duh. There we go. I have to enable it. So I can play, this basic pattern on this instrument, on the claps. I think this is. There's a different pattern. Bad instrument to choose because they're all pretty much the same. So we'll move up an octave. This is the and what you can't see is over here. Let me take the chat out for a second. There's always, Craig, there's always the replay. So I have the individual instruments, the individual hits over here for this, so I can do my own patterns as well. So it's actually very playable, which is really kind of cool. So let me put the chat back in because things are going on, and there we go. Hi, Craig, wake up. I can't send a message through to your watch and wake you up, dude. So anyway, like I said, there's always the replay, and none of this stuff is changing the world, so it's not a huge deal. But I do appreciate you coming over now that you're awake. Just in time, probably to hear me start to wind down and go into the last jam and whatnot. And I think what I'm going to do, it'll take me a moment to set up for this, but I think I'm going to play my Christmas song as the closer for tonight. So let me set up for that, and let's see, what's going to be the easiest way to do that? Close that. I think the thing to do is roll over here. What have I got going on there? Oh, this. Okay, we can change this. Let me delete this track out here. And there we go. There's a place for it. And let me go into my hard disk. But you don't get to see all this while I'm doing it. Sorry. But documents, Ableton. What did I call that thing? I called this guy. And let me grab the wave file and drop that out here by itself. Okay. Pull it down a couple. There we go. So it's not going to interfere with anything else, and we will stop playback of everything else. Okay, that works, obviously. Let me put that where I want it and turn it down a little bit. And put this back up here. Oh, but that's not going to get the visual for it. Oh, well, it's okay, I guess. Three 3:31 a.m. My gosh. You must really like me, Don. I do appreciate that you come out. And let's see. I'm trying to figure out a way to get this graphic to show up because I didn't preload it. I wasn't really at that 4:30 a.m. Jeez. Well, it's time to get up. How am I going to do this? Oh, I know what to do. I know what to do. Just have to find things. So let me grab... apologize for this, guys. And let me grab the software control for the switcher and go into the media pool and then go grab... Oh, where did I put the graphic for that? Pictures. Cover art. Drop that in there. Okay, good. All right. This might work. This just might work. All right, guys, I think it's 10:33 here. And you all have done a pretty good job of telling me what time it is everywhere else. So I'm going to say, John Fleetwood, hello. You're here just in, I don't know how long you've been here, John, but you're here just in time for me to say goodnight. I'm going to play my latest song for you. And how much of, John, real quick before I go, how long have you been with me tonight? Always on the wrong side of the clock. All right. Well, take care, everybody. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and roll this audio track as soon as I figure out where it is. Just tuned in. Well, so what you get to hear, John, is my latest single, which is available for free on Bandcamp, on my Bandcamp, and that will be linked by the time it's all said and done. Let me go back to, let's do this. So I'm going to figure out how to make all this stuff work. Let's turn this down a little bit before I blow your ears out with it, and I'm going to go ahead and roll the audio, or try to. And really? You going to play? Oh, I got to roll everything. That's why. There. Now it should start shortly. so that was that. That's the new one. And got a little bit of a feed thing going on there. Let's turn that off. There we go. So anyway, that's my new single. Hope you all like it. And let's see. Thank you. I appreciate it. Used all the new Arturia stuff that we talked about tonight in making that. So Minifreak V is in there. The new Mallets is in there. I also used what was the other? There was another thing. I can't remember what the other part I used in there was. But it was all Arturia stuff, and then mastered it with the J37. So that's it for tonight. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thanks everyone for coming, and we will catch you all again soon. Let's see. Let's quick talk about schedule. I will be here next week. Monday nights, I'm still going to do Monday. I'll be here for the next at least couple of weeks, and I got to take a couple of weeks off towards the end of the month. But that was sorry you only got a few minutes, Craig, and John and George. I do appreciate everyone coming and spending some time with me tonight. It's always fun. So we'll see you all next time. I'll do a little live play on the way out the door. So thanks a lot again, and we'll see you.